Alright boys and girls, the Junkman coming back at you with another video series. This time a brother in his garage productions is going to show you how to properly 2-bucket wash your car. Still can't say the word, so just work with me, okay? Anyway, we're going to go into the detailed process that I personally use to keep my baby perfectly scratch free. The first thing I'm going to do is show you all the equipment I'm going to use, and then the next thing is we're going to actually take it to the car and show you the proper 2-bucket wash. So with that said, let's get on to the equipment that I use to properly wash my car to keep it from getting any swirl damage at all. Here we go. Alright boys and girls, I'm coming at you looking all like Grady again. Check me out. You can tell I work for myself, huh? But anyway, here's the first step. Step one, first thing you're going to do is rinse the car. You want to knock off as much big dirt as possible. So you're going to do a rinse the whole car. The very next thing that you're going to do, and the very most important thing to a 2-bucket car wash, is the foam gun. Let me grab that puppy. Now, I've had my foam gun for years. It's made by Gilmore. It's the Foam Master 2. There it is right there. Notice I've already got it filled up. This device here is responsible for saving paint jobs for years. What this device is going to do, and I'm going to demonstrate this for you, is it's going to lay down a rich, thick layer of foam, soapy foam, all over the car. And it's going to lubricate that dirt that is matted to the clear coat. That dirt that does not come off when you rinse the car. That is what the foam gun is for. It's going to lubricate that dirt, raise it up off the clear coat so that you can safely come across the clear coat with your wash pad or wash mitt and not grind that dirt into the paint. This, my friends, is the most important step in the 2-bucket wash process. You can try to get around it all you want to, and you're going to be constantly fighting swirls. Foam gun, this is the secret right here. You can find them all over the place. Amazon, eBay, they're always on back order though, so if you're lucky enough to get one, consider yourself lucky, okay? Foam gun, I cannot stress the importance of this device. Okay, so we rinse, we foam, and then we start our 2-bucket wash. Now, the buckets themselves, there is something very important about these buckets. And that, my friends, is called a grit guard. You can see what it looks like, okay? What this device does is it sits in the bottom of the bucket, all the way flush to the bottom of the bucket, as well as flush around the sides, okay? Because you don't want this thing spinning around. What happens is, when dirt gets into this bucket, it drops below the grit guard and lands in the bottom of the bucket. Because of the design of this grit guard, you see those fins? See how thick they are? See how tall they are? Those fins and quadrants keep the water in the bottom of the bucket from moving around, from being disturbed. So when you're in there cleaning your pad out, you don't disturb the dirt that has fallen below the grit guard. Because you don't disturb that dirt, it does not come back up into your wash water or your rinse water and get deposited all over your car, scratching it all up. This is a very important part of the wash bucket and rinse bucket. I have one in my wash and my rinse bucket. So, very important. I cannot stress the importance of these. These are the things that keep you from having to constantly fix your paint. Keep this in mind. There is only so much clear coat on your paint. You can't go buffing on the thing every day. You fix the paint once, and then you do the things that are necessary to keep from damaging the paint over and over and over again. Foam gun, grit guard, 2-bucket wash, all of this stuff is important, okay? All right, there's my bucket. Now, I was talking about the 2-bucket wash. Now, not only are you going to use 2 buckets, grit guard in both, I'm always extra safe, but you're also going to use 2 wash pads. Now, I'm using a wash mitt, and the reason I like this is because I can put my hand in it, and as I'm washing the car, I can actually feel the car. It's like I'm caressing the entire car, and if anything is stuck on the paint, I'm gonna feel it in case I miss it, in case it's covered up with foam or covered up with soap, whatever, I can feel it and I can concentrate in that area. And I like being able to caress the entire car when I'm cleaning it. It's just like giving myself a bath. You see me, big old rusty me getting a bath. But anyway, that's why I use a wash mitt. But I don't use one, I use two. I use one for the top half of the car, all the way down to the halfway point. And like I said, I'm gonna show you all this. And then I use another mitt from the halfway point down, because down there is where most of the dirt is. So I'm not gonna use the mitt that I'm using on the top half of the car on the bottom half of the car, because I could be bringing dirt back and forth, contaminating and scratching up the whole car. So one mitt for the top half, one mitt for the bottom half. Two buckets, one with soap, one with water. One's gonna wash the car and one's gonna rinse the mitt out after I wash the car. Like I said, I'm gonna show you all this. Just kind of go through it real fast. After I do the rinse, foam gun, 2-bucket wash, 2 separate mitts, and then I'm ready to rinse again, I am going to dry the car with water. Now, I'm not even gonna go into that right now. I'm gonna just show you, all right? After I dry the car with water, I'm gonna take the remaining water off the car with a leaf blower. It cost me about $30 at Sears. I mean, they make this model in every kind of name you can think of, but this is what it looks like. All right. A lot of people are worried about, well, won't it suck up rocks or something? I mean, I've stuck paper to this thing just to see if it would hold the paper up against it. It's not a problem you have to worry about. But here's the key: it has to be an electric leaf blower, not gas powered. You do not use a gas powered leaf blower because the exhaust is going to blow out and settle all over your paint. You don't want that. You always use an electric leaf blower. Okay, so that is pretty much the extent of all the equipment I'm going to use. I've got my 2 mitts, my 2 wash buckets, both with grit guards in the bottom of the buckets. I've got my fancy nozzle that I like to use. It's got a bunch of different settings on it there. You know, you can do that. Sears, you know, wherever you want to get those. And another thing that I have that you're going to notice on all the equipment that I use, well, you can tell it's a brother in his garage production, can't you? Notice on the end of this, you see that little device there? And I've got one on there. See that? Huh? And I've also got one on my foam gun. See there? Those are called quick disconnects. And what they allow me to do is to connect to my hose and disconnect from my hose without having to go turn the water off. Because I can turn the water off at the hose, at the end of the hose, not over at the faucet. Now again, I'm going to show you all of that stuff. But I just want to give you a quick rundown of all the equipment that I'm going to be using. And that's pretty much it. So now, let me get set up here and show you how this is done. Okay, boys and girls, here we go. I got my attachment. Notice, remember I showed you the piece that it has on the end of it? Here's what the end of my hose looks like. See that? This right here is an off and on switch. And all I have to do, this works like, you've probably, for most of you guys anyway, you've seen how air hoses hook up in a body shop. Well, you pull this down, this little black ring, you stick it in, and then you let it go. And the hose is on there. And this is how quick I can change from attachment to attachment. I can, if I had another one sitting around here, I can pop it off the same way. You see that? See how fast it comes off? All right. Okay, so there you go. And now I'm ready to do step 1, the rinse. Nothing to it. I like to set my spray here for what we call a gentle shower. And I'm just going to rinse the car down. Now, some of the things that I'm going to show you are for everyone who washing any kind of car, and then some of the things are going to be specific to Corvettes, the C5 Corvette itself. One of the things that I do with my C5 Corvette is over the seat controls on the passenger side and on the driver's side, I drape a towel in case water gets inside the cabin and lands on those controllers. Those towels are going to protect it because sometimes it will leak on you. And if that water gets in that controller, it'll cause the seat to run constantly, and you'll go out to start the car one day and the battery will be dead. And you're wondering, why is the battery dead? Or you'll go to get in the car, you hear this, and you're like, what's that noise? And you'll chase it for days. And that's all it is the seat controller has water in it, and it's running all the time. So that's a specific to C5 Corvette, guys. Doesn't matter which kind of C5 you have, all of them, the roof will leak eventually, and you'll have to adjust it and take care of that. So let me go do that first. Okay, I've draped my towels over the seat and the seat controller so that any water that leaks inside doesn't land on those controllers. And I like using the waffle weave type towel. I'm getting real close there so you can see. That's that these things are like super absorbent, so they catch any kind of water. And only a couple of drops don't get in there anyway, so these are real great for that. So now I'm ready to rinse the car off. And let me do that. I'm going to start from the top of the car and rinse my way down. Here we go. Probably helps if I turn on the water first. Turn that controller. Ah, we got charge. That better be a booty call. That was not a booty call. Back to the rinse. From the top down. Okay, I have completely rinsed the car from the top all the way down and knocked off all the big dirt that can be removed by rinsing the car. Now, I'm about to rinse out my wheel wells. However, and my undercarriage too. I'm going to rinse my undercarriage. However, I don't like using this because it doesn't really do the job the way I want it to do. I can't stick it up in the wheel well. That's why I got this little contraption that I picked up. I don't remember where I picked it up. It was made to do one thing, and it does a lousy job at what it was made to do, but it does do something that is real useful. Check out the end of this thing. See this? It swivels. How about that? Is that cool or what? Swivels. That's almost 360 degrees. It's about like 350 or 40 degrees or whatever it is. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the water off, use my quick disconnect to make sure it was off. Ain't nothing like disconnecting when the water's still on. And I'm going to switch to this device here. Okay, and it's on. It's got a locking trigger, so I need to make sure that's off. Cut my water back on, and I'm going to zoom you in on this wheel well to give you an idea of what this thing will do. Check it out. Okay, look at how wide the stream is of this device. See that? See how wide it is? I can get inside my wheel well, or inside the wheel, and really rinse in there real well. I can also go inside my wheel well and rinse. Another thing that I can do is adjust this nozzle so that when I go inside my wheel well, I can now really rinse the top of the wheel well. You know, where you can't rinse normally. I can get all up in there. So this puppy comes in handy. I don't know if you can find them. It's just one of those nice things that I came across. But it really works great for getting inside the wheels and getting inside the wheel well. Alright, so I'm going to do all four of my wheels that way. And bring you to the back of the car because I want to show you something else. This is a Junkman exclusive. Now this next little trick you're not going to see anywhere but in a Junkman video. This is, I thought about this long and hard how I was going to do this. I thought about coming up with all kinds of stuff, but I actually came up with something that was pretty simple and I didn't have to get a patent on it. You know how when you bring your hose around the car, it likes to get caught under the tire, and then you're all trying to whip it from up under the tire, and then it hits the paint and scratches it up? That's a no-no. That's a no-no. Well, I dealt with that problem, and I finally figured out a way to get around it. I took some very tall buckets. This is actually my grit guard washing bucket. I've got one on the other side of the car. And then I can put 2 in the front of the car. And what happens is, when I go to drag the hose around the car, I hook it on the bucket, like so. And then as I walk around the car and hook it around the other bucket, I can drag my hose and go around the car without scratching up the paint or the hose getting caught under the car. So these buckets, they're filled with water. Of course, it ain't gonna work if the bucket's empty. They're filled with water, but these buckets keep the hose from getting close to the car, and I can drag and pull and drag and pull. And as you can see, well, I made that one move a little bit, but it keeps that from happening. I don't have to worry about the hose getting caught under the tire. And then when I come back around the other way, like so, you can see the bucket keeps the hose from hitting the car. And that is very important. Now, of course, any bucket will work, but the taller the bucket, the better. All right? So that's what I do. I put these, they're like the 5-gallon buckets, only they're tall, and I put them all around the 4 corners of the car, and when I'm dragging the hose around, it doesn't get close to the car, it doesn't get caught under the tires, and it don't mess up your paint. And you know how the Junkman feels about messed up paint. So that's a Junkman exclusive. You will only see it here. Remember, you saw it here first, okay? All right. I'm now ready to break out my foam gun and foam the car down. All right, I'm ready to foam the car down. Now, my foam gun is adjustable through this little lever here. All right, I can turn it, push it in. This gives me the least amount of foam. I can pull it all the way out and latch it on one of these little holes, and that'll give me maximum foam. So I usually run mine at max foam, and it goes through the foam real fast when you do that, but my car's not that big, so I really don't have a problem. But here I go. I'm gonna foam from the top all the way down. Remember, most important step, this is what is going to lubricate the dirt that is still attached to the clear coat. It's going to lubricate that dirt, raise it up, and make it safe for me to come across the paint with my wash pad or wash mitt without grinding that dirt into the paint. Here I go. Cut my water on and foam away. Now I foamed the top, now I'm going to foam my sides. I'm also going to get some in the wheel well and my wheel. Sides. And the wheel well. And the wheel. And now I have one side left to do. And look how much foam I used in that. How much I've done. This was full. Now I'm ready to do the side. See, I can go through the foam real quick when I set it that high, so keep that in mind. Okay, boys and girls, now I'm actually ready to do the wash. Basically what I'm going to do, starting at the top half of the car, I'm going to wash the top half all the way around, just the top half, and then I'm going to stop at the halfway point, which is usually a body side molding where the car begins to fold under. All right, that is going to be my stopping point for my first mitt that I use. I don't want this mitt to touch the bottom half of the car. That's where most of the dirt is, and I don't want to contaminate this mitt with that much dirt. This mitt is only going to wash the top half of the car, okay? I'm using 2 buckets. Usually I don't have the buckets this close to the car, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to start in my soap. I'm going to go across the car, and then I'm going to go to my rinse water, and I'm going to clean that mitt out. And then I'm going to go back to my soap, across the car, and then to my rinse bucket and clean that mitt out. I'm going to repeat that process until the whole top half of the car is clean. When I'm done, my soap water should be just as clean as it was when I first started washing the car. My rinse bucket is where all of the dirt that I take off the car will end up, in that bucket, not in my soap so that I can grind it all around the car and create those deadly swirls that you see in everyone's paint. All right, so here I go. I'm gonna wet my towel up, or wet my wash pad up here. I'm gonna go across the car, washing the top half only. I'm gonna just do half that roof. I'm gonna do half this back window. I'm gonna come down this side here. And like I said, I like having this mitt where I can put my hand in because I can feel what I'm doing. You know, it's a religious thing with me when it comes to cars and washing them. I treat them like ladies. So any of you single ladies out there, you know how I treat you. All right, I've washed. Now I'm ready to rinse that mitt out. I'm gonna stick that mitt in my water. I'm gonna scrub it across the grit guard that's in the bottom. Wring that out. And then I'm gonna go back to my soap, and then I'm going to wash another section of the top of the car with this mitt. So that's what I'm doing now. And I'm going to repeat this process on the top half of the car. Now I'm working my way down the side. I need to do the hood before I move to the sides. And I'm going to repeat that process. Rinse after I do my wash. Scrub that mitt out on the bottom of there. Get all that dirt out of there. Bring it out. Go back to my soap. I'm going to repeat this process again for the top half of the car all the way around the car. And then I'm going to move to the second mitt, which takes from the body side molding here all the way down. I am not going to touch the wheels, the tires, inside the wheel wells, or anything with that second mitt. That gets a totally third wash device. If you have painted wheels, you should be using 4 devices, because paint on wheels will scratch just like paint on the car will. So you need to wash painted wheels with a third device, and you don't want it all up inside the wheel wells. You don't want it on your tires. That's how you scratch up paint. So you need to take extra care of those painted wheels. The only ones that you can abuse are polished aluminum, because you can just keep polishing them. You won't have to worry about scratching them up. But everything else you want to take care of. Chrome, paint, it's common sense. Nothing I do is rocket science, because I am not a rocket scientist. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and cut this off and finish washing the car, and we'll come back when it's time to rinse. There we go. All right, boys and girls, I've completed my 2-bucket wash, my 2-mitt wash, I should say. And I've completely rinsed the car. Now, one thing that I didn't show you, I just thought I would tell you, is you can tell I'm washing my car inside my garage. Obviously, I have a drain, so that all the water drains. But one thing that I do is keep the car entirely wet while I'm washing it. As I wash a section, like the top half, and then I rinse that section off, and then I go to wash a side, I'll rinse the entire car off. That way I keep the water on the car so that it doesn't dry and spot up. So if it's real hot outside and you're washing outside, you'll have to only wash a little section of the car and rinse. Wash a little section and rinse. If it's cold like it is right now, it's like 2 below Mississippi outside. It's like freezing out there, but I got my blast furnace going, so I'm nice and toasty up in here. But inside the garage, or when it's cool, you can do a bigger section before you have to rinse. I suggest washing at the crack of dawn. And that's when you want to wash your car. You don't want to wait till the middle of the day when it's all blazing hot sun high in the sky, high noon Clint Eastwood standing on the corner. You don't want to wash then. You want to do it early in the morning, like the Gap Band used to say, early in the morning. So that's when you want to wash your car. So right now, I'm about to dry the car off. I do not use towels to dry my car. I use the pooling or sheeting rinse and a leaf blower. Now, you dry the car with water. That's a concept that a whole lot of people have a hard time grasping. But what I want you to do is look at this back window. Let me see if, yeah, you can see all those beads of water on that back window. Watch this little trick. Now, I want you to see, I've got the hose turned on so that there's a small like a, not that strong of a stream, okay? Now watch what I do with this. I'm gonna start at the top of the car when I do this. So here I go. I'm gonna start at the top, and I'm gonna walk that water across this back window. Watch what happens. That puppy is bone dry, okay? I need to get a camera person in here. Really looking all crazy in the screen there. That puppy's bone dry. That is sheeting action for you. I'm gonna do that to the entire car. I'm gonna walk water across the car and use water to dry the car. That's exactly what I just did right there. Bone dry. The sheeting or pooling rinse. Junkman approved, baby. Sheeting or a pooling rinse, baby. That's how it works right there, just like that. All right, boys and girls, I've completed my pooling rinse. There's very minimal water on the car. I could use a small waffle weave towel if I wanted to dry the car off, but I subscribe to the notion that the less you touch the paint, the less opportunity there is for you to damage the paint. So I touch the paint as least often as possible. That's the way the Junkman rolls. So right now, I'm gonna break out my electric leaf blower that I paid about 30 bucks for. It's 160 horsepower. You don't need the Mega Blaster F-18 Hornet engine blast leaf blower to dry your car. It doesn't take much at all. I know that they make machines specifically for this. I've never used one personally, so I can't speak to how well they work. I can speak to how my $30 leaf blower works. It gets the job done. You know that's what we all about up in the Brotherly's Garage production. Okay, so I'm going to focus the camera on different areas as I actually use the leaf blower so that you can see what it's doing. Okay, I'm gonna do the tires, and then I'm gonna do the doorknob, which is one of problem area for us Corvette owners, mirror, another problem area, and the tail light, another problem area for us Corvette owners. So I'm gonna let you see me dry those areas, and maybe I'll do a flat surface so you can see the water run around. I don't know, people ask for the craziest things sometimes, so I'll go ahead and show it to them. So I'll do that, and you can see what the leaf blower does, and then that will pretty much bring us to the conclusion of our wash process. So here I go. All right, boys and girls, that pretty much brings to an end this video series of the proper 2-bucket wash. The only thing I have left to do now is go around the car and find any water spots that may remain. If I find any that are actually dried on the car, I can use detail spray and my drying microfiber towel to revive those spots and remove them very easily. So that's basically what I'm going to do. Go around the car, use my waffle weave small towel. I don't have to use a big drying towel because I've knocked pretty much all the water off the car with the pooling rinse technique and the blow dryer, or the leaf blower, I should say. Now, I think I said mine was 160 horsepower. I meant it moves at 160 miles per hour. I guess that's how fast it moves the air. It's, like I said, it's not the most powerful thing on the market. You don't need anything all that crazy powerful. That one does fine. So $30 Sears, where I got it from. Just to recap, the way I did everything, I first did a rinse, knock off all the big dirt. The second thing I did was the foam gun so that I could raise that dirt off the clear coat so that when I came across it, I didn't scratch it and grind it all into the paint, make all those swirls that you see in your paint. The next thing I did was the 2-bucket wash, 1 bucket with soap, 1 bucket with clear water, and 2 mitts, 1 mitt for the top half of the car, 1 mitt for the bottom half of the car. Bottom half being that where the body molding will be on the side of the car, or where the body of the car starts to curve inward. That's where I separate my line all the way around the car. I use a 3rd mitt for the wheel wells, or a 3rd device. I say you don't have to be anything fancy like a mitt. 3rd device for the wheel wells and tires, and then depending on what type of wheel you have, you might want to use a 4th device for the actual wheels themselves, especially if they're painted. You don't want to go scratching those wheels up with the same thing that you use up under the wheel wells, getting all that dirt. So if you got painted wheels, you want to treat them like the paint on the car. So you have a special mitt for them. After I did the wash, the 2-bucket wash with 2 mitts, I then came behind it and did my rinse, and then I did my pooling rinse. So I rinsed all the soap off the car. Again, depending on the time of day you wash, you might not be able to wash the entire car and then come back and rinse it like I did. But it's, like I said, it's 2 below Mississippi outside and it's freezing. So I got the garage nice and toasty, and I was able to do the whole car without the soap drying on the car, and then rinse the entire car. So you have to, gauge what you can get away with there. Once I rinsed all the soap off the car, I did my pooling rinse, which actually dries the car by pooling all the water together and running it off in big gobs. And then I follow that up with the leaf blower. Once I get done with the leaf blower, I then come around the car, do an inspection with my waffle weave towel and the small one, don't need a big one, and some detail spray if necessary. And that completes my wash. At this point, I will cover the car, because now is the only time that I can cover the car without doing damage to the paint. Right after I wash it. If I drive the car for 1 block, I will not cover it because it is now dirty again. So the only time I'll cover the car is right after I've just washed it. That is the only time. I don't believe in the drive the car, then come back in and hit it with some detail spray, because dust is landing on the car. You're driving down the road, cars are going the other direction, dust is constantly being thrown in there, you're sitting still, it's settling on the car, and you're going to come in and detail spray that? No, I don't think so. You might California dust it first, then detail spray it, but that's another video series that I have. You can go watch that one. But the only time I'm going to cover that car is right after I wash it. Other than that, I'm not going to cover it. I'm just going to wash it again. So I believe I washed the mess out of my car. 9 years old, my baby is, and paint still looks immaculate. So that's it. That pretty much brings this video series to an end. I've got more videos coming. I know y'all been harping on me, get some more videos, get some more. The Junkman been rolling, okay? So I'll get some more videos up. I've got the wax video that I'm going to be showing you how I do my wax. I've got tips and tricks. Got a couple of videos in the pipe, so be ready to see those when they come out. With that said, this is the Junkman, signing out.